Today I'm going to put together 7 freezer meals using food out of my pantry, my freezers, and my root cellar. I don't know about you, but I find December one of those weird months that start off nice and slow and then they just accelerate and get crazy and busy. So I wanted to put these meals together so that I had some backup meals to be able to pull out on those really busy days. I am forever forgetting to take meat out of the freezer the night before I need it, and today is no exception. So I ended up cooking up a whole bunch of meat from frozen earlier today. I did some beef stew that's all fried up and ready to go some stew beef for the beef stew that we're going to make today, some ground beef, some turkey breast, a whole chicken that is cooking in the oven right now, and then I also have a pork roast that is over in my roaster oven cooking up for some pulled pork that I'm planning actually to make for dinner tonight. All these recipes will feed between 8 to 10 people, so perfect for batch cooking. If you have a smaller family than I do, you could make these recipes and then have 2 or 3 meals in your freezer for the upcoming busy season. Friends, as I was editing this video, I realized that I forgot to share something extremely exciting with you that I did not want you to miss out on, and that is that we have partnered with Harvest Right to give away a medium freeze dryer for Christmas. And this just thrills me to no end because it is a way that we like to each year just thank you, to give back to our community, because you guys have just been so supportive of us by liking our videos, commenting on them, sharing them, subscribing, all the things that you do to support our channel, which we are deeply, deeply grateful for. So all you have to do to enter is to click the link below this video in the pinned comment or in the show notes. This giveaway is open to Canadians and Americans in the continental United States. We aren't able to ship one, unfortunately, internationally. That being said, I still want to send out a huge thank you to all of my international viewers as well. I deeply, deeply appreciate each and every one of you. On that note, let's jump back into the video. This first recipe that we're going to make is an enchilada filling, and you can see the little puppy leg back in the corner. That's actually my grand pup. It's my son's dog, Theo. But anyways, we're going to be using a whole bunch of canned food, and using canned food out of my pantry makes putting recipes like this together so incredibly easy. So this is an enchilada filling. So we're using some canned beans, 3 different kinds of beans, enchilada sauce, and some diced tomatoes. So we're doing a mix of black beans, kidney beans, and pinto beans for this recipe. When I say a lot of beans, I meant a lot of beans. Okay, and into our beans, we're going to add 2 quarts of our diced tomatoes, a quart of enchilada sauce. I actually think I'm going to add another quart of enchilada sauce to that. Okay, then for our seasonings, we have salt, garlic powder, smoked paprika, chili powder, cumin, and onion powder. Okay, I decided to add another pint of enchilada sauce to this because it just didn't have quite enough. A couple cups of rice, a couple cups of corn. This is freeze-dried corn. And a chopped onion. So what this recipe is intended for is for a casserole, so where we would layer tortillas with this and then top it with cheese. But what I have decided to do is get this all mixed up and freeze it in bags, and then I can take it out, thaw it, heat it up. We can use it as filling for wraps, or I could make a casserole if I wanted to at that point. But I thought just getting the filling done like this would save me a ton of time. That looks good. Okay, our first recipe is done. This next one is going to be creamy tomato basil chicken. So we have our 2 cans of diced tomatoes here. So we're going to be using some more of my canned diced tomatoes. These superb lids have such a nice seal. It's the first time I've tried using them this last summer, and I really like them. So all these used lids that you can see here that are coming off all of these jars that I'm opening, we wash these and then I put them aside to use on my dry goods. Okay, we have a whole bunch of basil, some garlic powder, onion powder, salt, and pepper. We're going to add some coconut milk. This is the coconut milk that I like. And a tin of tomato paste. You can use raw meat for these recipes, but I am going to be using cooked, which is going to make heating these recipes up and using them that much faster for me, but you can do them with raw if you like. So this recipe, if you're using the raw meat, it's a good slow cooker one, so 6 to 8 hours or so in your slow cooker, or you can bake it at 350 degrees for an hour and then serve it with rice or pasta. My plan is to serve this over rice. Instead of chicken for this recipe, I am going to use turkey. I have this giant turkey breast here, so this is only partially cooked. So this will be a slow cooker recipe for me. I've been meaning to buy those little bag holders for scooping food into, for Ziploc bags, and I just haven't gotten around to it because honestly, I don't do a ton of freezer meal cooking. I tend to do a little bit more of them in the winter, which is weird. You'd think it would be helpful for me to do them in the summer when I'm really, really busy. Hi, hun. But I just don't do a ton of it. So it's not something that I remember to purchase, but I really should because they are, at least from what I've seen from other people doing them, they are really handy. I definitely recommend doing some parboiling on any vegetables you're going to make for freezer meals because they taste better when you do. If you freeze them like this, you can get away with it, but the texture is going to be a little bit off. So we're just going to boil them for a couple of minutes until they have started to soften. Well, it's probably going to be more like 10 or 15 minutes, maybe even 20 minutes with this many. We have a lot here. Okay, this next recipe, we're actually going to use some of the potatoes and carrots that I am parboiling behind me here in this recipe, but this is going to be a hearty vegetable and lentil soup. So I'm using a couple more cans of diced tomatoes. I use tomato products, my canned tomato products, probably more than anything else that I can. We have some Italian seasoning and salt and pepper, and a couple of cups of lentils. Going to add some broth. And then we'll wait for our other veggies to cook and we'll add them to this as well. And you know what? I have a little bit of extra freeze-dried corn here, so I'm going to throw that in there too. All right, now we're going to make some chili mac, and we're just going to be freezing the sauce for this, and then we'll add our macaroni when we actually make it. So we need 3 cups of beef, which I have cooked over on the stove. And we have some garlic powder, some cumin, smoked paprika, chili powder, and salt. Some more diced tomatoes, some tomato sauce, I'm gonna go rinse off some more kidney beans. That smells really good. Okay, 4th recipe done. All of our vegetables are now cooked up, so I'm going to add some of the carrots and potatoes into our lentil soup over here. And then the rest I will be adding into our stew that I'm going to put together in just a sec. So there is our veggie lentil soup all ready to go. Now for our beef stew. We're going to add some garlic and a bunch of onion. Don't think I'm going to add all that. Some nice big chunks in there too. Why not? We'll add it all. We have some salt, some pepper, some bay leaves, and some thyme. Some green peppers, and these were frozen from this summer. And then we have all of our beautiful beef here, and I'm going to add all the juice from cooking it up. And a little bit of ketchup, and this beef stew recipe is in my cookbook if you have it. Instead of adding the broth that I would use to make the gravy with this recipe, I'm actually just going to freeze all of these ingredients, the actual base of the stew, and then I can just open it up, add my broth, which I have canned down in the pantry, to it, and then heat it up. And I'll probably let this, I find beef stew just tastes better when it's had a chance to simmer for a while, so it'll be something I'd either put in my roaster oven, my slow cooker, or over on my cook stove and just let it slow cook all day so that everything is nice and soft and the flavors can meld. So that is another recipe. We are making some seriously good time. The last two recipes that I have to put together are the pulled pork, which is really going to be easy. I'm just going to add some onions to the roaster oven once the pork has cooked through. And then I'll be adding a bunch of my homemade barbecue sauce, and then I'll just let that slow cook for the rest of the day. And we're actually going to have that for dinner tonight. And then the chicken and rice recipe, I just have to wait for that chicken to finish roasting in the oven, and then we can put that recipe together. Okay, we have some garlic powder, some onion powder, some salt and some pepper, and a little bit of parsley here. We're gonna throw that in with our chicken. A couple of cups of peas. And we're going to add some broth, 2 quarts. And some rice. And now this is ready to freeze, and then we just have our pulled pork left, and I do have all of these bones and the extra broth from cooking these chickens. So I am going to cover this up with some more water and then add some veggies to it. I'll add some onions. I have some onion peels that I have down in the freezer, some celery, and then I will let this slow cook all day over on the cook stove. And then I will have some more broth to be able to can up or to be able to use in another recipe later on this week. Do the lights look pretty, honey? Yeah? So to put together this pulled pork, so easy. I'm just adding a can of my French onion soup here. So this just has bone broth in it, some beef broth, and then I'm adding some, and onions of course, and then I'm adding some of my barbecue sauce. This barbecue sauce is a rhubarb barbecue sauce, and it's absolutely delicious. So this is just gonna simmer on the stove, and then we're going to put it on some buns and probably have some coleslaw on the side, which is kind of our standard for pulled pork. And then, of course, when you cook like this, the amount of dishes is a lot. There's always so many dishes and so many jars. So I'm going to be spending some time here getting the kitchen cleaned back up, and then we're going to sit down and have some dinner. We're excited and happy with all of the food that I ended up with here. And it only took me a couple of hours to put all of these meals together. I did have some help with the prep, with doing the peeling and the chopping and all that kind of stuff, but really didn't take a terribly long time, which is fantastic. So we have our chili mac over here. I'm really excited about this enchilada filling. I think that is going to be absolutely delicious. We have 3 bags of our beef stew here, our lentil soup, and our chicken and rice soup over there. So lots of meals for the upcoming busy weeks. Very happy about that. I would love to know if you're into freezer meal making. What are your favorite freezer meals? And do you prefer a fully cooked meal like the beef stew? Or do you like something that you can throw in the slow cooker in the morning and then come home in the evening and have a nice meal, nice and hot and waiting for you? The lentil soup is the one that I will be doing in the slow cooker. I actually like both. I think I probably prefer the pre-cooked food, so because I can literally just thaw it out, open it up, or even open it up frozen and throw it on the stove, which seems to be my way, and end up with a meal within about 15 or 20 minutes, which I think is fantastic. All right, friends, that is going to bring us to the end of today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you got some inspiration for some freezer meals that maybe you could do to make the upcoming busy season a little bit less stressful. I would love to hear if you have any freezer meals that you really enjoy that freeze up well. I'm most excited about the enchilada filling. I just think it is going to be delicious and kind of a diverse thing that I can make a bunch of different recipes with, but all these meals look fantastic. And just a reminder, if you haven't entered our giveaway for the freeze dryer and you do live in Canada or the continental United States, you can enter that by hitting the link below this video in the show notes or in the pinned comment, and I wish all of you luck. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.